Hello, fourth grade, and welcome to lesson 9-3. In this lesson, we're going to do some more work with adding fractions that have like denominators or common denominators, which means we're adding fractions that the denominator is the same for all of the numbers that you're going to be working with. So let's watch our short video lesson and then jump right into our notes and guided practice. This is basically going to be a review of what we've already been doing, and it'll be easy for you guys to follow.
How can you add fractions with like denominators?
Let's take a look at a couple of different ways.
The table shows the results of a fourth grade Pets Club survey. What fraction of the club members chose a hamster or a dog as their favorite pet? Think about what you know to solve this problem. What fraction of the club chose a hamster as their favorite pet? What fraction of the club chose a dog as their favorite pet? 2/12 of the club chose a hamster as their favorite pet. 4/12 of the club chose a dog as their favorite pet. What operation will you use to solve the problem?
Select your answer.
Okay, now here you need to stop and think. When the question is asking you if they picked a hamster or a dog, that means you need to consider the total of these two. That means whichever they picked out of these two. So we need to add these two fractions together to be able to figure out if they chose, how many of them chose a hamster or a dog as their favorite pet.
Why will you use addition to solve this problem? You use addition because amounts are joined. Add the fractions for hamsters and dogs to find the result. Find 2/12 plus 4/12 using a model. 2/12 plus 4/12 equals 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12 plus 1/12, which equals 6/12. What does 6/12 represent? 6/12 is the fraction who chose either a hamster or dog as their favorite pet. Find 2/12 plus 4/12 by joining parts. Add the numerators. Write the sum over the like denominator. 2/12 plus 4/12 equals 6/12. Why do you write the sum of the numerators over the like denominators? Use the number line to explain. When you add 2/12 and 4/12, you add 2 segments plus 4 segments on the number line. The result is 6 segments. Since the space between 0 and 1 on the number line is divided into 12 equal segments, the 6 segments are 6/12 of the whole. 6/12 is equivalent to 1/2. 1/2 of the club members chose a hamster or a dog as their favorite pet. Now you know how to add fractions with like denominators.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our notes and our guided practice. Now here you can see that they're using a number line. So they showed you 2/12 is made up of 2 1/12 size pieces, and 4/12 is made up of 4 1/12 size pieces. So if our number line is broken up into 12 pieces, we have 6 out of the 12 pieces, which we know we can simplify. We can divide the top and the bottom by 2, which is going to give us, or sorry, we can divide the top and the bottom by 6. We can also divide it by 2. That'll give us 3/6, which we can divide again if we wanted to, or you could just divide by 6 because 6 and 12 are both multiples of 6. 6 divided by 6 will give you 1. 12 divided by 6 will give you 2. So that's an equivalent fraction of 1/2. Let's go ahead and take a look at our notes. Now for this lesson, we have our title at the top, 9-3, add fractions with like denominators. Remember, when your fractions have the same denominator, you only need to add the numerators and the denominator stays the same. So if I have 3/8 plus 1/8 plus 2/8, so I have 3 fractions that I'm going to be adding here. My denominator on all of them is going to be 8, including on my answer. So I'm going to fill that in first. And then I'm just going to add my numerators. 3 plus 1 is 4. 4 plus 2 more is 6. So 6 out of 8 is the sum of 3/8 plus 1/8 plus 2/8. Now we can do another example similar to the one that they did in the video using a number line. We're going to look at the sum of 4/5 plus 3/5. So my number line here is going to extend past 1 whole. So I'm breaking it up into fifths: 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, which is 1 whole, 6/5, 7/5, 8/5, 9/5, and 10/5, which is 2 whole, because 10 is twice as much as 5. So I'm going to start at 4/5 right here. And then I need to make 3 more jumps on my number line. 1, 2, 3 to show those 3/5 size jumps. And I landed on 7/5. So 4/5 plus 3/5 is equal to 7/5. Now, even though my numerator is larger than my denominator, I have to maintain a common denominator. I'm working with a like denominator, I need to keep that. Now, since this fraction has a numerator that's bigger than the denominator, that means it's greater than 1 whole. And we can see that it goes past the 1 whole on my number line. So I can rewrite this, remember what we call an improper fraction, where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. We can rewrite it as a mixed number. So since I'm working with fifths, I'm going to have 5/5, which is 1 whole. So how do I make 7? 5/5 plus 2/5. So 7/5 is equal to 5/5, which is my whole, plus 2/5 extra pieces. So 1 and 2/5. So basically what you're doing when you notice that your numerator is bigger than your denominator, you're going to take out 1 whole using that same denominator. So here I'm using fifths, so it would be 5 out of 5. If I was using thirds, I would have 3 over 3. If I was using tenths, I would have 10 over 10, and so on. So let's take a look at another example to find the sum. So for this one, I did fraction strips, and I laid my 2 whole fraction strips next to each other. So it says find the sum of 3/10 plus 2/10 plus 6/10. So I have my fraction strip here, and these are broken up into 1/10 size pieces. So here's my 3/10, 1, 2, 3 of my 1/10 size pieces, plus 2/10, so that's 2 more 1/10 size pieces, plus 6/10, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 1/10 size pieces. Since I'm working with tenths, my denominator stays the same. It is out of tens. Now 2 plus 3 is 5, 5 plus 6 is 11. So I end up with a sum of 11/10. Now I'm going to rewrite this improper fraction as a mixed number by decomposing it into 1 whole plus whatever extra parts I have. So since I'm working with tenths, I'm going to do 10 out of 10 to maintain that like denominator, and however much is left. So how do I make 11 using 10? Okay, I can do 10 plus 1 more. So my 10 out of 10 is 1 whole plus the 1/10 extra piece. So here you can see I have 1 whole plus 1 extra piece right here. Let's do another example, and let's find the sum of 11/10 plus 11/10. So remember, you're only adding the numerator and you're keeping the denominator the same. If we have a like denominator, we don't change it, we don't touch it, we don't play with it. So here, 11 out of 10 plus 11 out of 10 is going to be something out of 10. Now 11 plus 11 is 22. Since our sum in the numerator is greater than the denominator, we can rewrite it as a mixed number, because remember, this is called an improper fraction. This is not the way we're supposed to write fractions, with a numerator bigger than a denominator. So we're going to break it apart. So how do we make 22 using tens? 10 and 10, and then we have 2 extra left over. So 10 out of 10 plus 10 out of 10 gives us 20 out of 10, plus 2 more gives us 22 out of 10. So this is 1 whole plus another 1 whole plus 2 extra pieces out of 10. 1 whole plus 1 whole plus 2/10 is equal to 2 and 2/10. Now, if we wanted to simplify this fraction, we definitely could, right? Since they're both even numbers, we can divide by 2, but we don't need to worry about that right now. So we decomposed into wholes and parts, and then we rewrote it as a mixed number. So we took our 22, we were working with whole groups of 10. So I was able to make two whole groups of 10 with 22, and then had 2 extra pieces. For our guided practice, number 1 says, what fraction of the club members chose either a bird, which was 1 out of 12, or a cat, which was 5 out of 12. So here we're going to do the same thing. We're going to add our fraction parts. 1 over 12 plus 5 over 12. We're still working with 12 people that voted. So 1 voted for a cat, 5 voted for birds. Altogether, that makes 6 votes out of 12, which is also equal to 1/2. So half of them chose a bird or a cat. For number 2, and this is a question that I want you guys to pay attention to. Greg said that 1 over 3 plus 2 over 3 is equal to 3 over 6. What error, what mistake did he make? The mistake that he made was he added the denominators. He did not keep the like denominator the way he was supposed to. So the correct answer, 1 over 3 plus 2 over 3 would equal 3 over 3, which is equal to 1 whole. For number 3, we are adding our fraction parts, and I drew a fraction strip for this one. 2/4 plus 1/4 equals 3/4. So here's 2/4 pieces plus another 1/4 piece, which gives us 3 1/4 size pieces. For number 4, we have 1/3 plus 2/3, which equals 3/3, which also equals 1 whole. And I used a number line. So here's 1/3, here's where we started, plus 2/3. So 1, 2, got us to 3/3, which equals 1 whole. For number 5 and 6, for number 5, I drew a fraction strip over here. These are in 1/12 size pieces. I know I didn't fill them all the way in. Would have taken a very long time, but 2/12 plus 11/12. So we're just adding the numerator. 2 plus 11 equals 13 over 12. Since our numerator is bigger than our denominator, and we can see here on our fraction strip, we have 1 extra piece because 13 is 1 more than 12. It's the same thing as saying 12 over 12 plus 1 over 12, which is equal to 1 and 1 over 12. So all of these pieces would be 12 over 12 plus 1 extra piece. And then for number 6, we have 1/10 plus 4/10 is equal to 5/10. Again, your denominator stays the same. You're just adding your numerator parts. That's it for this lesson. If you have any questions, 4th grade, let me know. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing day. Take care. Bye-bye.